This is a special week coming up for me. It's been 5 years since I've recovered from 2 strokes, both consecutively. I can tell you that I'm very grateful to the Lord above that I am probably one of the few who had 2 strokes and still here to tell the tale, but tell it to you in a way that I'm there. Not sure if I'm fully there yet, but people I work with and talk to me when I tell them that I had 2 strokes, they say that I'm fine. So I would just go on that. And I don't want to spend a whole lot of time rehashing the story, because in other video essays I probably mentioned that to you already. But I think in the 5 years, if you've seen me speak, you know that I'm just about there in recovery and really not trying to get a 3rd stroke. That would be something I do not like, and that would be something detrimental to me. But I can just tell you that if you've or your loved one has suffered a stroke, it's best to get medical assistance right away. Don't wait. Don't think it passes over, because more often than not, damage to your head and your brain is happening, and you need that quick assistance from a nurse, a doctor, whoever you can find. Go to the emergency ward in the hospital immediately. Don't waste your time. That was the action that my loving wife shared, or actually did, once I was coming down with the symptoms of a stroke. She immediately told me, let's go, and we went to the hospital, where stay seemed to be 4 days of a stay. And also, by the grace of God, one of the doctors who insisted I was going to have surgery to put a stent in my head decided at the last minute, no, I didn't need one. So yes, I had brain damage, very acute brain damage, but still, brain damage is nothing to play with at all. And I'm very grateful to the Lord above that I'm still here and able to share this with you 5 years later. But it was a scary time. It was a time that I didn't know what was going to happen. It was a year of seeing my father pass away and me coping with his loss. But I didn't take care of my body. I would just admit that right now. My weight had stretched out to the point where it was just, but it was not even his passing that caused my weight to go out of control. Poor eating habits combined with grief, or dealing with that, resulted in that. And I can tell you this, 2 weeks before the stroke incident happened, the warning signs were there. During a visit to the clinic that I usually go to, a nurse took my blood pressure, and she found it was extremely high. It was extremely high. Let's just say in the 200 range. I was rushed to a hospital, stayed overnight, given medication, and you think that'll be it. And then 2 weeks later, the strokes happened. Why did I say strokes? Because the doctor not only said that, but when I think of the 2 weeks before, I think about my actions and what happened. One night, doing an assignment for a local newspaper, I was driving home from this venue in the valley, and my wife told me that I was driving faster than usual on the freeway. Of course, I didn't know. I thought I was driving normally on the freeway, but it was something that I capped off a day of just what I felt to be unusual occurrences. Earlier that day, I went to a job interview and everything seemed fine, but for some reason I just couldn't act right. And later that evening, that's when I had the incident on the freeway. Just glad to make it home safely. 2 days later, in fact, the day of the stroke happened, I was trying to start my assignment by writing a sentence, and I couldn't come up with an idea to write a sentence about the story I was planning to cover. I can just tell you that that never happened to me before. When I think of an idea or a story to write for whatever it's an article or one of my creative projects, I always have something in mind to write about. And this time, I couldn't. As much as I tried, I just laid my laptop down and just chilled for the rest of the day. And the incident that caused me to go to the hospital was that we have a store near where I live, and my wife just said simple request for food to get. Next thing you know, I could not remember what she said. I didn't even know what she was talking about. And that's when I went to the hospital, and that's why I had my 4-day stay. And that's when the doctors examined me, put me through an MRI, took my blood, drew my blood every 4 o'clock in the morning, checked my blood pressure at 6 in the morning, had breakfast at 8. The rest of the day, family stopped by to check on me. The family, my wife and my mother. So I can just tell you that strokes are nothing you want to experience. I had a good close friend of mine, a childhood friend, who stopped by and talked to me immediately after I returned home from the hospital. We talked, kind of caught up with our lives to each other, and he stayed right down the street from me, his old house. Come to find out, not too long after I returned to the hospital, he suffered his own stroke. So we're trying to recover, walk in the neighborhood and trying to get ourselves back on track. But the last time I saw my friend, he was loaded up into a van, the van that you kind of a commuter van that you pay for the service. My father had that, and that was it. The next time I heard from him, it was a mutual friend on one of the social media sites saying he passed away, and that hurt. My childhood friend, someone that I've known almost all my life and played football with me, played basketball with me, all the good things, even coached with the Y with me. All those good experiences we had were just gone in an instant, and it's something that I will never forget. I can't forget him. I walk by his house every single day, sharing those memories, sharing all the good times we spent together. But it's heartbreaking to know that I'll never see this person again, unless the Lord decides we will. But I can just tell you that strokes are really a life changer. I work with young people, and I lost a lot of weight because I was walking, exercising, really walking a lot. The doctors told me to walk a lot during that summer, so I lost a lot of weight. And the students were surprised when they saw me again in the high school that they usually were assigned to. They couldn't believe that I lost all that weight. And then I told them I was sick, but eventually I had to tell them the truth, that I had a stroke, or strokes, down to the doctor told me about it. And they didn't quite understand what I was going through that year. And I'm sure the staff, the teachers that I was substituting for, they didn't quite understand either. But all I can just tell you is that it was my cross to bear, it's my journey, and I had to walk that alone. I had to go through recovery alone, and I had to make sure that I was all right. My brain wasn't all together there yet, but my physical health was. So it's a struggle. It was a struggle to get back. It was a struggle to get back into the world and see what the world was. And I had to play a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of old television shows and TV news programs and things like that, just to get my mind right, just to get my memory back. And still, there are some actions that I regret on social media that I wish I've been smarter about. But of course, when you're trying to recover, life happens. So all I want to say is that I don't know if I'm 100% back to the person that I was after all the struggles that I've gone through, after the stressful talks I had in which the doctors suggested I should not have any stress at all, but life happens, right? But through all that, I'm still here, and I'm sharing this testimony with you because I'm here to let you know that if you've suffered a stroke and you're not quite sure of the future, you're not quite sure of what is going to happen down the road, I am 5 years removed from having 2 of them, and I'm still here, and I'm talking to you, and I'm very grateful to God that I'm still here and able to share this with you. All I can just say is that I wish each and every one of you take better care of your health, walk if you have to, exercise, gain strength, but do what you have to do to make sure that you are in perfect health so that you won't have to face what I faced. All I can just tell you is that having a stroke 5 years later, it seems like it was a bad dream. It's a bad dream that I don't wish anyone to have. And I don't know why I had to go through it, but it was a purpose. I've written 3 books, and not only that, I'm feeling much better than I've ever felt. I feel more confident in myself and my life, and able to be a good husband to my wife, a good son to my mother, who's still living with us, and just knowing that life is what life is always going to be. But if you make the most out of it, you can't succeed in life. You can't succeed and fulfill all your dreams and all of your goals. So as I close, as I share this with you, I want each and every one of you to know that having a stroke is not a death sentence, but it's a way to see your life as something positive and good if you make it out all right, if you recover, and if you take steps to change things in your life that need to be changed. You don't need stress in your life. You don't need to look at the news every single time and see that things in this world are going in a different direction, impacting your life and your health. All you have to do is just understand life is always going to be this way, but you have one life. And if you're recovering from a stroke or know someone who is, make sure that doesn't affect them. The outside world doesn't affect them. What happens in their lives is more important than what's happening in the outside world, because their life matters. And if you're recovering from a stroke, your life matters. So don't let the outside world or any of the news stories or any of the clickbait get to you. But I just wanted to share this time with you, and I wanted to let you know that strokes are very serious, man. But don't let them hamper your life. Don't let them determine how you live. That's all I wanted to say, and that's all I wanted to share with you. It's been 5 years. I'm going to say it again, grace to God. And I hope each and every one of you have a good week, a good evening, a good day. Until next time, please support this channel and take care.